This random
podcast.
Welcome to another edition of This Random Podcast. I'm your host, Enzo.
And I am Rick Sanchez.
Okay, so today is part 2 of what the heck is happening to Novak Djokovic.
Novak Djokovic.
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic.
Novak Djokovic. All right, I got it.
Well, it's kind of funny. I saw something that they called him Novak's Djokovic.
Djokovic.
Thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So Djokovic's not playing.
He is not playing. He's been taken out of the draw and he's been deported. So that's been the main news, I think, for the past 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, he did go to Dubai, so that's pretty neat.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
He went to Dubai.
Like when he left?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, that's what they said.
They let him
on
in?
the news.
Yo, let's go to Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think you need to be vaccinated to be in Dubai, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Actually, no. The United Arab Emirates, they don't require vaccines.
They don't?
No.
Dang, man. I wish I was rich.
I wish I was rich.
Can you guys please share this podcast so we can go to Dubai? Thank you. We will actually we'll podcast from there. Okay, so let's cover this story. We've already talked about it, and I think we're part 2 to update. Get an update of what's going on. So, just moving forward, it's been such a big story, and big stories concern me. When something is the media covers it too much, it almost feels like they're covering something else.
Right.
And I'll make this one really short, but something happened in South America. Look it up. 2010 happened in Ecuador. The president was treated like he was in the hospital, and supposedly he was being detained by our own police people because they were mad about their pay. But it was actually some documents that were being released that were retrieved at the border from the guerrillas coming over from Colombia, and that incriminated him. But funny enough, the day that they were going to release those files were the days that he was in the hospital, supposedly being held against his will, and that's all the media talked about for 3 days.
Right.
So,
have you seen this show called Designated Survivor?
I have not. Isn't that with Kiefer Sutherland, blonde dude? I think so.
I don't know his name.
But it's about the president, right? Whoever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's this crazy conspiracist show that is so good. It's so, the season 1, bro. To be honest with you, Netflix is a Netflix show. Netflix released half the season, and then they were gonna release the other half a couple months after. When I finished watching it, the episode, dude, I was literally shaking.
Oh, really?
I was literally shaking.
Like, why? The content was so
It's really plot twists in the story.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, bro, what the heck is going on? It was so realistic. But anyways, this first season is really good. Second season is okay. I don't remember if they made a third season, but it's really good. And sometimes when I see this kind of stuff, even in House of Cards, the way they played the cards, the way they make things happen,
the way they play their hands on situations.
Yes, it's kind of like, you know what? Someone thought about it, so someone could actually think about it in the real life.
So yeah, I mean, I get that, and without jumping there, because that always goes over to the Hegelian dialect. It's like dialectic, which is, you cause a problem to be able to give somebody a solution.
Oh yeah. So that was actually my point. It's like, in these shows, they'll something will happen, or they'll make something happen. So what they want to happen goes unnoticed or whatever.
Right.
Like
a magician.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay.
The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So while they're showing you their right hand going, hey, look at this,
right.
Look at this, the left hand's doing something else.
Right.
And that's, and that's crazy because that's how pickpocketing works, They always entertain you with something else while they're, that's what they do in South America at least.
Yeah.
But let's move forward with this. Let's go back to the Djokovic. So right now Djokovic is deported because apparently the original thought was that he wasn't vaccinated, which it's true. And then also he actually, what I understand is that he filled out some paperwork and the paperwork was falsely filled out, or he filled it out incorrectly, which in my opinion, I'm not going to put it past him. He probably lied about it.
Right.
Because his medical exemption said, hey, I can't get vaccinated because I had COVID recently and it's not past my 3 months, so therefore I have a medical exemption. Let me into the country. That's fine. I'm not saying that he did have COVID or he didn't. I'm saying a really good chance he lied about it. Because what they're saying is that while he had allegedly had COVID, he actually went over to Spain and he got an interview and he was with somebody else, putting that person's life at risk.
Right.
With COVID, which is fine. But the Australian people have nothing to do with that. But apparently they're just going to pick on everything because that's what the media does. They tear somebody apart so you can build your opinion and say, oh, yeah, we agree the way you agree. But that's fine. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying those are the facts. And then he's allowed into Australia because Tennis Australia said, okay, sure, you can come over. But then the Australian government says, no, you can't. So to me, where we need to impart with this would have never been a story if it would have been like, look, you're not playing. Right. It would have been a story of one day. He would have been like, no, I'm not going to get vaccinated. And, I'll probably try next year.
Right.
But this year, I'm not going to play. Story's over.
From the beginning.
Day one.
Not even getting the country.
You're not coming over. Dip. Yep. Go on a vacation. Do something else. But no, what happened? Guy gets over there. I mean, we already know that from the first podcast. So now he's been deported back because the whole thing was he appealed his visa and then they allowed him to go in and then they said, no, he's got to go. And the problem with that is the prime minister of the country, I was watching this video of the prime minister himself on the news from Australian news, which Australian news is like really against Djokovic. But they were saying, well, from the prime minister, he says that Djokovic is not as much of a health risk as he is a risk to public order.
Okay.
So public order, what does that mean? That people are going to revolt or people are going to start, coming up with their own ideas? And it's interesting because I read this post, I believe it was on Twitter. I read this post of a girl. She put it up there, and it basically says, unbelievably, one of the Australian government lawyers' main argument is that Djokovic may become an icon of free choice. Those were his exact words. Oh, my.
So he's afraid of
Djokovic becoming a symbol of free choice.
Wow. That's crazy.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I get stuck. Like, how do you argument that?
Yeah, so he's pretty much saying that free choice is a bad thing.
Yeah, like we don't need to let people think for themselves or say, hey, maybe this is a bad idea. Let's not get this vaccine. Right. So the other part that I've noticed that's just it's more rampant and I listened to I read a lot of people on Facebook that I actually respected and thought they were really smart people. It makes me sometimes doubt. It's all about the unvaxxed or the anti-vaxxers, actually. The word is anti-vaxxers. Right. So if you didn't get this vaccine, you're an anti-vaxxer. Well, an anti-vaxxer before used to be determined as somebody who didn't agree with vaccines in general. Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, somebody doesn't agree with this vaccine, that means they're an anti-vaxxer, and therefore they don't agree with any vaccine. And that's what they put you in these little buckets. Well, that's what you are now. And to me, the point...
Well, and therefore you're a scum of society.
Right. You're horrible.
Right.
So what does that mean? This is a very 2020, 2021 topic. So if I see a black person go and rob a store and I call him out and I say, yo, that black guy robbed the store. Am I a racist? Does that mean that all black people are bad because I said that? That's the way I feel about it. Right. I can't say that. Yeah. And that's crazy because that's what a lot of, police officers even think today. They're like, if I arrest him, I'm probably going to get fired because they're going to think I'm a racist. Yeah. And it's like, why can't you just look at this one situation? Let's look at it and say, no, I'm not going to do it. Or, yeah, that's a great idea. We don't have to have this hive mentality of, well, you pick this and therefore this is what you are. Right. And coming to that point in 2016, I was talking to a family member. And my family member asked me, hey, how are you going to vote? And I said, well, if I was going to, this is how I would vote. Mm-hmm. And I said that I was going to vote conservative. They didn't want to vote. I don't vote. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a bad American. I don't vote because I don't believe in the system. Never have. Okay? And he told me, why would you do that? You're Hispanic. You need to vote Democratic. Okay, that's one of the stupidest statements I've ever heard in my life. Right. Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't think? What if the person who's Democratic is horrible? Do I still have to agree? No. I'm a free thinker. I was given a brain.
Yeah, so that's kind of the, where they put you in, for example. So that pretty much, that same man kind of says that you can only vote conservative if you're white. Is that what it means? If you're of any minority at all, you have to be a Democrat?
Basically.
Like, you have to, there's no other option.
Well, that's what they try to do.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, it's pretty sad that, we're in that boat. So now with this whole Novak Djokovic thing, a friend made a comment about it on Facebook, and somebody said, yeah, well, that's because you guys believe Trump. What?
Right.
First of all, the statement is kind of stupid because actually, if we remember, we were told that Trump gave us the vaccine. He Operation Warp Speed and used all these funds and blah, 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 blah. And he taunted and touted about it that, hey, I did this. So technically, he gave us the vaccine.
Okay.
So if anybody's going to take it, it's actually the people who said, hey, listen, you came up with this plan. We're all going to take the vaccine because we trust you.
Right.
So the fact that you're not taking it and you're saying that, oh, well, just because you're a Trump supporter, it's kind of a stupid statement because you're not really thinking. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say that is the case. Why does it have to be the case? Just because me personally, I don't choose to take it, it doesn't mean that I support any of these clowns that are up there.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. But to the point of Novak Djokovic, so now he's been deported. And come to find out, because it wasn't big news, because this person is not anything big at this moment, Vorakova, I think is her name, Vorakova. She's another tennis player, a female tennis player from the WTA. She was playing the qualifiers, okay? So obviously Djokovic is in the main draw. She's trying to qualify to make it into the main draw.
Right.
She was already playing. She played her first match. She's a doubles specialist. She's played her first match with her partner.
Okay.
She also had a medical exemption. She was there before Novak. She was already playing. And they actually deported her once they said, oh, okay, Novak, we're going to detain you. Oh, we need to detain her too.
Okay, so interesting enough, Djokovic is a big public figure.
Right.
So some of the, what I saw from the news was that, he would, like, if they let him stay in Australia, he would be a big risk of, vaccine hesitancy. I can't say it.
Hesitancy.
Oh my gosh.
Hesitancy. He was going to create anti-vaxxer sentiment.
Yes.
Like people to be like, oh, I want to be an anti-vaxxer.
Yes. So, it does make sense that this girl was there playing, because she's not known.
Yep.
They wouldn't, she wouldn't make, it wouldn't make a difference. That's the point.
She's not going to make she's not going to make any.
Yeah, she's not going to influence anybody.
She's not going to ruffle any feathers, correct.
Right.
She's got no voice. But when somebody has a voice, you got to shut him up.
Right.
It's crazy.
I like the way you put that. When someone has a voice, you have to shut him up.
If he doesn't speak what you're speaking.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's man, this episode can go very, very long because we can branch off and talk about many different things.
Because you just say that, I will mention real quick about the Robert Malone, Dr. Robert Malone.
Yes. Yeah.
Who is the, pretty much the guy who created the technology for the RNA for the vaccine.
Right.
Who recently said some controversial stuff about the vaccine. And he's been canceled. He's been removed from his Twitter account. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Somebody who he was basically he was credited with creating the mRNA technology that's in the vaccines. That's correct.
Right. And so he would be someone who is
correct.
Who is credible.
Yeah, you'd be like, yo, if somebody has authority to say something, it'd probably be this dude.
Right.
And he said something, and right away it's like, okay, you need to shut up.
Right.
So, he was up on Joe Rogan, and, Joe Rogan, he's okay when it comes to podcasting. We're better, but, he was on there, and it was amazing. It was really good, and it was good to listen to. And I like to listen to both sides of the coin, but at the end of the day, even parting from that, like, they're talking about not letting Djokovic in. Supposedly, the beginning argument was because he wasn't vaccinated. He's a risk to health.
Right.
The guy is super healthy. The guy is. I'm sure he had a test to get in there because everybody has to test whether you're vaccinated or not. Which I don't know how much sense that makes, but okay. So he tests. He's sure he's negative. He's super healthy.
Right.
And if everybody else around him is vaccinated, why do we have to worry? Because other people can get it, obviously.
And if he was vaccinated, he could still transmit the disease.
And here's the interesting thing. I actually have 2 friends in Australia.
Okay.
So I got a friend, one I went to high school with. Good dude. And he's got a very inspiring story, which I don't know how I'm going to plug that in because it's really good. But one of the things he said, him and I were talking, and we disagree. Obviously, he lives in Australia, and he's like, well,